two things can be true at once. And what I mean is that everything in medicine is a cost-benefit analysis. And Dr. Drew says this, he elucidates this really well. Point being, do your cost-benefit analysis. Will it stop you from getting COVID? The answer is no. Okay.
No.
What are your chances of surviving COVID? Like, are you morbidly obese? Are you elderly? Will it mitigate the severity of your case? Are there therapeutics that could be helpful? All these conversations should be happening with a doctor you trust. So for me, number one, it's not going to stop me from getting it. It won't stop me from spreading it. I know I can survive it. I've already survived it before the vaccine even existed. There's no benefit to getting it. Zero. It's off the table. If you came to me and said, monkeypox will kill you, it is like smallpox, and it's easily communicable, okay, I would take the side effects of the vaccine versus dying from monkeypox. But we know it's very difficult to catch, that there are arguably other therapeutics that can help us manage this. The drug doesn't work. It doesn't work. It had the same, according to this guy and the study that they did, it had the exact same effects as the placebo, which was proper medical care and proper nutrition. So then the answer again would be no. But I've gotten many different vaccines. Like I've traveled all over the world. I got yellow fever. You know what I mean? This is my, meaning I got the vaccine for yellow fever.
Yes.
I travel all over the world. If there was a malaria vaccine, I would get it. I would, because malaria is no joke. And as I mentioned, I travel quite a bit. This should be an individual decision, period, that people make with their doctor, where they are given all of the facts. And I also don't think what you take away from this, it's not so much that your doctor's working against you. They're not. Doctors are operating on what they're being told, and they're being pressurized from every single angle. So they're being sued, they're being attacked, they're being taken off. We saw Mark Zuckerberg come out and say, yeah, I silenced doctors and different individuals during COVID. I was forced to by the White House. The key here is, without going too deep down a rabbit hole, have a plan of educating yourself, playing out your cost-benefit analysis with a medical professional you trust, because it is different for every individual. If you were a gay man and you did in fact run the risk of monkeypox, and it was in fact killing people, and there was in fact a vaccine, although this is a therapeutic, I think, not a vaccine, then you could make that decision. But for you and I, who are not having promiscuous sex, I'm married, I'm not getting monkeypox, I'm not getting this vaccine or taking the therapeutics under any circumstance.
Yes, thank you. A couple of things there. Number one, we need to educate ourselves and make sure we understand how it's transmitted, et cetera. And even this scum doctor was acknowledging that this is primarily with gay men sex, et cetera. It's such a tiny percentage, basically in other countries where it is transmitted in any other way, but it's certainly not an airborne virus like they were saying it was with COVID. The problem with trying to educate ourselves is what? The other thing that the scumbag doctor said, that he is manipulating the media companies. So the issue is, where do you get your information from in order to be educated? And so it all comes back to the same thing, and it is just doing your research. And I think having hesitation a little bit, because I'm like you, I was called an anti-vaxxer, even though I took the vax only because I was forced to take the vax to keep my job at ESPN Disney. At the end of the day, I vaccinated my children with all of the things back in the day, never gave them a flu vaccine, haven't done any of those things. But the reason why is because we know with polio, we know that it is proven through years and years and years, in this case, decades of research, and the FDA being involved for decades and decades. COVID was different. This thing is different. If it works, which we only know based on years of research, I got you. But if not, and you're shoving it down my throat and forcing it, I'm out. So right now, what we can say is, if you're hearing, take the monkeypox vax, at this point, ignore it. The question is, are you ignoring things, Jillian Michaels, when we get crazy things like voicemails being sent to us from the Centers for Disease Control? Jill, everybody needs to know, Jill sent me this clip.